In today's episode of Travel Unraveled, we are going to take a look at a young lady who moved to the Dominican Republic, fell in love, got married, and found out at the end of the day, everything that she was doing for her husband there was a scam. But before we get started, make sure that you subscribe to our channels, Love Crossing Borders, as well as this channel, Travel Unraveled. Now, let's get started. Once again, as I mentioned, nice young lady went to the Dominican Republic trying to find love. She believed that she found it, and what she found was a handful of headaches. Now, as we all know, this is not the first time a woman has gone to the Dominican Republic or the Caribbean islands looking for love, or not even looking for love and finding love and thinking that she's found the one that she could take back to the United States as if she was Stella, got a groove back, so she thought. But we're going to listen to her tell the truth about what took place when she was in the Dominican Republic, how she realized that she was being scammed or swindled, and what the technical term is when they do this to the ladies.
And you know what's crazy? I used to be married to the Tinder swindler. Well, okay, the Dominican version. And they call that a Sankey Panky or a Chappy Lord.
A Sankey Panky. That's the technical term for when a woman gets swindled or scammed into either marrying or dating a guy that basically drains her of her income.
And I used to be so ashamed about it and not be able to talk about it. But I don't care now. I'm really open about it. But I was literally dishing out hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to my partner every single month because of some crazy lie or story that he's told me. And it sucks because there are people who are going through the same thing, if not worse than what I experienced. They're going into debt. They're losing all their money, getting credit cards. They're losing their homes just to provide for the partner that they love so much, when in turn that partner is only scamming them and using them for money and a green card.
This wasn't a boyfriend or a fly-by-night guy. This person who she was with was a person she was actually married to. A lot of times when we're traveling, we find ourselves falling in love with the people. We get married. I got married, and we find ourselves putting ourselves in positions that economically you're giving away thousands upon thousands of dollars to individuals that you think you know, but you actually don't know. Make sure when you are out there falling in love with these women or falling in love with these men, that you actually understand the background of what needs to take place before you can take them serious. Have you met their family? Have you met their friends? What type of career do they have? What type of education do they have? Do you know their language fluently, or are they bilingual? There are a lot of things that we need to take in consideration before we even consider a serious relationship, especially with somebody in a foreign country. It's funny to know that when it comes to marrying somebody in a foreign country, she, an attractive young lady, just like many women in the United States, wouldn't dare be with a man if she had to be the breadwinner, if she had to come out thousands upon thousands of dollars a month for an American man. But when it comes to a foreign guy, they're ready to open up their legs and open up their wallets.
And what scares me is that these scammers, these Sankey Pankies, will literally do anything to get what they want from you. They'll even go as far as to having a whole ass child with you. They don't even care about you or the kid. They just want their money. Ooh, y'all gotta be careful. Y'all gotta be careful out there. Don't be having no kids with them. Ooh, please don't. Please don't.
Before she goes any further, once again, she's doing another video, a recap in regards to a person that contacted her and said, well, I found the right person. It says, oh, don't tell me that. I met someone on my trip that I'm really liking right now. And so she's responded to that person's message. A lot of times we move so fast because when you're putting yourself in a situation where it's not balanced, what you'll find yourself doing is giving more than you're receiving. That's why you guys always hear me say, what does this person have to offer? When it came to my wife, she was already a corporate accountant. When it came to my wife, she already had her own business established. Her family owns property. She owns property and land. So a lot of things take consideration. All of her friends are very successful in politics and television. All of them have a master's or a doctorate degree. You have to take in consideration who this person is before you begin to take them serious. You might even have intimacy with them. But when it comes to taking them serious, it's a totally different ball game. Let's finish unraveling this young lady's travel.
But to be honest, this was my expectation of everything versus my reality, more so down to the ground. Like, everything after that was terrible. So please do not ignore any red flags. As a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and give you some examples. If he already tells you that he loves you only after like 2 days of knowing you, big red flag.
Same thing for men. Same thing for men. I see this in Medellin and Cali and Cartagena here in Colombia all the time. It doesn't just happen in Dominican Republic. Guys meet a female. The female fixes them a good meal, cooks them a good meal, and all of a sudden, you're opening up your wallet, you're sending money through Western Union, you don't know anything about her, she has nothing going on in her life except for good sex. I want to say this again. If the reason why you're with the person at the end of the day is all that she has to offer you is good sex, and you don't care because you're a man and you have the money, you are doing yourself a grave disservice. You're going to regret that.
And if you guys are officially a couple only after a few days of knowing each other, also a big red flag.
Yes, you do not become an official couple after a couple days. Dre, she treats me well. She cooks for me. She sexes me good. She's supportive. She does more than what the American woman does. You can say all that stuff. But if overnight she's your girlfriend, dude, I'm telling you, it's a scam.
And if he's already talking about marriage, gotta go.
Colombian women are famous for saying this is going to be my husband. But what I'm saying is there are certain rules, certain standards that you need to have if you plan on dating somebody in a foreign country.
If you find that you are paying for everything and every outing and restaurant, wherever you guys decide to go to, yeah, he's using you. And if his family is already calling you cuñada, then they in on it too.
Yes, it is very common for family members to be a part of the scam because they know if she comes up, then they're going to get a come up. So they're all in on the scam. I had a friend that went through that exact same thing. He was a young lady. He even had paid for a full festive dinner for the family and everything. Come to find out, she was scamming him and the family was a part of the scam the whole time. Let's continue to unravel her travel.
Also be careful because they could be really charming and tell you everything that you want to hear. And don't get me wrong, I am not referring to all Dominicans. However, keep your head on a swivel because the guy that you're feeling, he could be a chapulor.
Same thing that I'm saying. I'm not talking about all people in South America or all people in the Caribbean or all people in Southeast Asia and the Philippines and so forth or in Europe. What I'm saying is that just be careful. There are a lot of great success stories when it comes to individuals such as ourselves finding love overseas. I found more success stories than I found failures. But when you see the failures, they are major failures. And that's why they stand out so much.
No, or a stinky pinky, somebody who's using an American for money and a green card. And I even know a few people personally who were dating out of the DR and they were just being used and manipulated the whole time. Like their relationship was just completely toxic. So I know you're probably out there having the time of your life, but regardless, do not ignore these red flags. Trust your gut, trust your intuition, and please take this video as a sign, okay? That's all I want. Just be careful. Like I said, I'm not judging you. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Just the only thing I want to make sure that you are aware of are the red flags.
She's absolutely correct. Just be aware of the red flags. And like I always say, be aware of the white flags. A white flag is when you know that the person has given up. They've given up on the relationship. They're giving up on taking you serious. They treat you disrespectfully. They don't answer the phone calls or the text messages or don't respond back to you. Everything is one-sided when it comes to sharing affection. She's not sharing any more affection with you. Those are white flags. We're about to go into another story that she's going to tell that happened to men in DR.
Y'all, when I was in the Dominican Republic, I witnessed the biggest scandals of all time from one of my girlfriends. And actually, we ain't friends no more. And understand that not all Dominicans are like this. However, it is wild to me how common this is. So right when I meet this girl, she's super friendly. I felt like I was getting a good energy because she was just keeping it real, telling me, yo, be careful of some of the people here because they're this, and that. So she was warning me about her own culture. Also, if we ever went out anywhere, she always split the bill with me, or she even paid for both of us. And it was just fun. It was always her and her man and me and my man at the time hanging out. So one day I discovered that she does not actually live in the DR. She's from there, but she currently resides in the United States. And I was so confused. I was like, do you have family in the US? And that is when she shows me a picture of her husband. So this girl,
let's not let that roll by. The friend is in DR, splurging, having a good time. She's Dominican, but she lives in the States. These two hit it off as friends. One day she pulls out her cell phone and said, girl, this is my husband. Well, let me let her finish explaining it.
21 years old, is living a whole ass double life, and everybody
21.
is in on it. Her family knows, her friends know, and even her boyfriend knows. The only person who was not aware of what was going on was her 58-year-old American husband.
Let's pause right there. American husband, 58. She's 21. Let's let that sink in. We all know when it comes to traveling and men being with younger women, it's quite often. I'm 55 and my wife is 29. So it's not uncommon for an older man to be with a younger woman, because there are a lot of younger women that desire and want to be with older men. They don't want to be with the childishness of men of their age. Not saying that all men are childish of their age, but that's how they look at it. You have to use that same common sense when it comes to dating and being with somebody in another country. Once again, if the person has nothing to lose, if they have no degrees, no education, no property, they don't even have a car, they don't have nothing, and you marry this person, what do you expect them to do? They've been scamming their whole lives. You think just because you put a ring on their finger, they're going to stop scamming? No, they're going to scam you even in the middle of a marriage. You're still going to get scammed if you're not careful.
So she lives in the US with her husband, but she travels back to the DR and she tells him that it's to see her family, and she stays for over 3 or 4 months. But in reality, it's to also spend time with her man. And mind you guys, she does not have a job. So her husband is funding her trips to DR. And I'm saying that she has a double life because she's using that money to also buy herself a car and get herself a secret apartment for her and her boyfriend to live in.
Let's pause right there. She's getting all the benefits. She's using the money from the flights that she's getting flown in. She's taking part of the money that Poppy is sending her to make sure she can enjoy herself with her family, not knowing that she's not only getting herself or purchasing herself an apartment, she's also doing something that very few Dominicans are able to do, which is purchase a new vehicle. There are men out there that are so focused on their business and their goals, or older men that may be like, listen, as long as she come home and take care of me, I'm good. I ain't gonna ask her about what she does, because while she's gone, she better not ask me what I'm doing.
Using her husband's money. And I failed to mention that she does not know any English at all, but her husband does not know any Spanish.
I don't have to say anything.
Things because he don't understand what's going on. It just breaks my heart because there was a moment where she introduces me to her husband over the phone, and him and I connected talking about, being with the Dominican. And in that moment, I'm like, I want to tell this man so bad because he just was so nice. I'm like, she does not deserve him. I felt terrible even knowing what was going on and not being able to tell. I mean, I could have told him, but that would have caused a whole lot of drama that I was not prepared for.
And like I mentioned before, we don't know that the husband already knows and he ain't tripping. There are some dudes out there that are like that.
And I didn't even tell y'all half the story of this girl's mess. This was just the beginning. So I say all of that to say, please be careful, ten cuidado, because a lot of the women that I met there had ulterior motives and terrible intentions. And I'm not saying this is everybody, please understand, but you just never know. So please be on high alert and recognize all the red flags. And honestly, when it comes to meeting somebody online, I would be iffy, especially if they were in a different country. I would just be iffy altogether, but that is just me. Also, I'm not trying to scare you away from this person. I just want you to understand the possibilities of what could happen if you continue to pursue that relationship.
But in the case of this young woman that's speaking right now, she ends up finally finding the love of her life. So in the comment section of this video, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Would you be cool if your Dominican or your Colombian or girlfriend was going back home months on end, spending time with the family, but you had a hint that she might have somebody on the side? Would you be all right with that? Because you might be doing your little thing while she's gone. Let me know in the comment section. Once again, subscribe to the channel. Click that like button. I like you. Make sure you like us too. I'll see you guys in the next video.